I recently made a piece of short form content that blew up on TikTok. We got like 6,000 views and almost 200 comments, and it was about how I talked to my friends earlier that evening over dinner, and there are minority groups, part of the LGBTQ plus community. That TikTok was just a message of solidarity, just trying to be like, hey, look for the good. Remember that America's made up of their interactions every day, not the collective decision-making pool. Not everyone's making decisions based on hatred. They're making decisions in hope of better times, of more financially abundant times. So, America's made up of the individual people. And that was my most popular TikTok ever. It was at 6,000 some odd plays and almost 200 comments. And all these comments, I think the ones I'm surprised the most by are the ones that were confused. Like, huh? Why is anyone reacting like this? Why would this be a cause of concern for anyone? It's just another election. I think in the coming months you will understand that this was not just another election. It's never just another election. Each leader we elect fundamentally changes the course of America every time. In our older generation's lifetimes, they saw the presidents that signed in, federal bans on Jim Crow laws. I don't like to think about a world that is still plagued by segregation, with as much issues as we still have by race. There was a time in a lot of our families' childhoods where you weren't allowed to hang out in the same spot as someone who had a little bit different melanin content. What? That doesn't even come to mention that I found out recently that different skin tones and ethnicities have slowly become considered white over the course of 100 years. Legally speaking, because, 70 years ago, it was a legal issue how dark you were. And again, I'm not saying that everyone who made this choice hates people. What I'm saying here is that there are some people who are so confused because to them it was like who's the money one? After all this noise and all this stick shaking and all the mainstream media and all the Tucker Carlson interviews with war criminals, people are still checking in like it's just a normal day in American life. There's just a real sense of disconnect between what's happening in our legislation. It's like they don't understand that it all matters, it all adds up to something. And that was the most concerning. People say, good, get lost, get out of here, such a whiny baby. But yeah, I had a few comments of support, but it was mostly just people saying, oh, you're saying anything that I don't like about the election, F you, go away. I don't expect civil discourse here on the internet. I'm not so naive. Still pretty naive. I choose to be. It's a good way to be, in my opinion. If it didn't matter, would women have fought so hard in the early turn of the century last time? I know you don't remember, you weren't alive then. I wasn't alive then. But people lived and died by gaining the right to vote. And tortured. A lot of words. They were tortured. They didn't die. Just because they were women. They're just people. Your partner in Christ. Because voting, women were allowed to vote. And then because women were allowed to vote, our world changed for women. And it's not a great time to be a woman. And I went through and I read every single one of those comments and I applied to every single one of those comments. And I have conversations going that I need to go back and respond to. And one of the more concerning one is someone accused me of choosing fear. Now, I was 7 years old. I wanted to die the majority of my life. I'm 29 now. Tempted to take my life somewhere was 21 years old or coming up on 21 years old. Survived. Well, didn't get very far. Had a very spiritual experience therein. Sought help. So, but this man accused me like I was choosing, like I remember when I was talking to my friends trying to give a message of solidarity, but that I was weak for some reason for having an emotion like we choose our emotions. We do not choose our emotions. We choose what we do with our emotions. If you can't feel anything, that is a diagnosable disorder and you should go get help. Yeah, so from a guy who's been working on it for a minute, like since he got here, on trying to how to feel like good or okay enough to like want to keep going. You don't choose the emotions that you feel based on a given outside circumstance. You have to feel your emotions, you have to emotionally process, and then decide what to do from then. And those emotions are going to keep coming back up until they're done being processed. And sometimes it can take decades. Decades. So if there's one thing I could leave you with to take into your world, it's that you have to feel your emotions, i.e. the phrase feel it to heal it. Is you have something going on that's causing you strong emotions either way, giving you information on what you and the universe need to do in your life based on the emotions that you receive. All sadness, all hurt is informing you of something, either, something you don't prefer has gone on, and you are thinking about it in a way that is not going to be helpful to you or going to get you where you want to go. Something feels good to you, and you should keep thinking about it the way that you think about it, and take steps towards the things that feel good, and think about ways to make it feel good, and keep doing those things that make you feel good. This is the number one communication tool from your body to you, and from the universe, from God to you, is how you feel about things. Your emotions are information for you to process and then make a decision upon and take action upon. So anybody who thinks you choose fear, thinks that you're choosing to feel an emotion, you have to feel an emotion that you have, and then after saying, I have felt my fear about this, what next? How can I transmute this fear that I have felt about this? That's where the manifestation part, that changing your outcome on your life part, comes in. Post the feeling. If there's just something I could give you there, you have to feel your emotions. That's why we have music, to give you emotions, and movies, to give you emotions, to give you an empathetic response. I can't tell you how many of the manliest men I've sat next to and cried with over a really emotionally moving movie. There's a lot more. There's a lot more to take a lot longer to explain, and it comes with time and practice. You're ready for the next thing when you're ready for the next thing. It comes along. For this video was somebody's first time ever hearing that you have to feel your emotions to heal your emotions. I've heard it 1 billion and 1 times in my lifetime because I've been on this journey for a good minute now. If this was 20,000 years ago, I'd be croaking any minute. So yeah, if you're scared about anything, feel afraid, then decide what to do with it. What are you going to do? You're going to live in fear? You're going to move courageously? You're going to have hope? You're going to choose hope? I don't think hope's a feeling. I think hope's a practice.